Thank you so much for tuning in to another installment of Stay Uncomfortable. This is Yohan.
It's your boy Oscar.
How you been, bro?
I've been good.
I haven't seen you for like 2 weeks. No, that's a lie. I saw you last week.
Did you see me last week?
I think I saw you last week. Uh,
You saw me on Saturday
yeah,
as
that's
I was getting a ticket.
still saw you last week. So this man got a ticket. I got a ticket. It was like simultaneous.
Your ticket was some BS though.
It was, and yours was legitimate. So I don't know what to tell you there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Did you ever fix it?
yeah, right there.
They didn't. They don't make you pay nothing.
Just to give some context, uh, I parked. I paid my meter for like 2 hours, and I still got a ticket. And then I went to the ticket place. Oh, we're closed until Monday. Okay. And then I tracked down whoever it was that gave me the ticket. I was like, "Yo, look, my meter is still running." Showed them the app and everything. What's your license plate number? It's on the paper, sir. I'll take care of it for you. Don't worry. So let's just hope that they actually did take care of it. Because getting a warrant for a parking ticket is I, that's happened to me. In case y'all want to know.
This man's been at the like borderline, almost going to jail for a few times.
Honestly, this is gonna be kind of embarrassing. I've in my whole life I've had 3 bench warrants, and 2 of them were complete BS. 2 of them. One of them I deserved.
Any,
I'm delincuente,
yeah, he's
yo.
a menace to society.
Over here trying to tell men to get their crap together, and the cops is after me. Nah, they're not after me. I'm good. So, dime a ver, bro. What's up? What's good? What's good with you?
Bruh, I am. I'm doing well. I'm doing well.
Can I just say that you're glowing?
Am I?
Yeah, you look good.
I did my skincare routine this morning.
That's what it is.
That's what it is, really. For real, for real.
Yeah. Yo, guys. Well, Oscar tightened his microphone because it's just like going down on him.
It's
I'm
flat, going flaccid.
just tighten it. I'm just telling you right now. Get a skincare routine. It is in the year 2024, the year of our Lord. There is no excuse for men not to have a skincare
The
routine.
year of our Lord.
Yeah.
Why is that the year of our Lord?
AD, Anno Domini, the year of our Lord. That's what it stands for.
Oh,
Yeah. You learn something new every day.
yeah, because I knew what BC was for, but I did not know what AD was.
Yeah.
I know it was Anthony Davis. Anyway, how you doing, bro?
I'm chilling,
Talk
bro.
to me about your weekly rankings here.
Our weekly rankings. You know what? I'm gonna give myself physically. I'm gonna give myself a 6. Mentally, I'm gonna give myself an 8. Spiritually, gonna give myself a 4.
You want to talk about it?
I will not elaborate.
This man's sinning. No, I'm kidding.
Of course, I am. Aren't we all?
Sure.
And I'm not even being like generalist about that. Aren't we all? You know.
You know.
You know.
You know what you're dealing
You
with.
know what you're
You
doing.
know what you're struggling with.
And you know what?
Put that phone down.
God knows too.
Unless you're watching this.
But how would they have the phone? Tell me your rankings, Oscar. I'm not gonna give that any mental.
Mentally, I am at a. Mentally, I'm at a good 7.
It's that skincare routine, bro. That just puts your brain where it needs to
I'm
be.
at a good 7. I haven't eaten nothing though, so I don't know how much is really holding me up here.
I'm starving too.
Yeah.
Doing this without eating is such a bad idea.
Yeah, this mic looking like a drumstick right now. But,
See,
so spiritually, I feel like I'm a 6.5.
all right.
And what's the last one? And physically,
Yeah.
physically, I feel I'm gonna give myself also a 6, just because I've been slacking with the gym.
Really?
I'm always going through ups and downs with the gym where I just don't want to go, and I listen to myself and I'm like, yeah, just don't go. Like I think I went this week once, and
Yeah.
it was a terrible workout. Like the gym was packed, like, and I guess it was over. It was like a overall general thing because there was somebody who goes to the gym that they posted on Instagram that they were like, oh, it was a crappy workout,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, yep, guess I'm not the only one.
Yeah. You know, I wonder. Well, I don't wonder. I actually have a theory for this. Have you noticed that men more than women struggle with consistency? and structure and schedules and adhering to those things. Like
Mm,
we can make the schedule. That's not the problem. Women statistically are more prone to stick to the schedule that they make.
I mean, if it's based on stats, I can't really argue with that. The women in my life, you know, they're not so good at it.
No?
No, I don't think so. Like my mom is just she don't plan anything. She just be out the door and whatever she gets done while she's outside, she just gets done.
See, the thing is, we think that she doesn't plan anything. She just doesn't need to write it down.
True,
She knows what she's going out to do, and she accomplishes it every time.
true, true.
So I'm more saying like men, we need to get things done, and we
That is true. We do need to get things done.
it's harder for us to accomplish those things.
When I don't do things, I just feel like I feel out of like I don't know. Like I don't feel
Accomplished?
yeah. I don't feel like a man. Like oh I did this today.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very thing on like I told you. I think I'm very thing on routines right now. Like if something is like hindering me from doing what I usually do in my mornings, it's like damn,
Yeah. I feel like
something's
it's important
missing.
for us to establish routines in our lives, but I also think it's equally important that we don't. I was actually ranting about this yesterday to Manny. Uh, I don't think we should ever sacrifice our sense of adventure and wonder and
Hmm.
spontaneity for structure and schedules. That's a controversial statement because a lot of people associate being structured to having your things together, to being mature.
Yeah,
But then I often ask myself, how many times do we sacrifice like creative energy because we box ourselves into a schedule?
yeah. Usually it's in the morning though. Like I just feel like when you do have specifically a morning routine,
Hmm.
just before you even go get on social media, before you even go out into the world,
I agree with what
like
you're.
it's
Yeah,
good to have just something structured that can kind of hold you for the rest of the day.
yeah,
That includes skincare, praying, healthy breakfast, your coffee, your tea, whatever you like to drink in the morning. I think
yeah,
that's important.
yeah. There's been a few days where I wake up and Carmen is in the bed, and I come and find her here on the couch, and she's doing like a little devotional.
Hmm.
And I've noticed that the days that she does that, the atmosphere in the house is so smooth. It's so like light. Things just fall into place, and the things that don't fall into place, we don't really stress about.
Hmm.
I don't understand. She probably hasn't even noticed that, but I have.
That's a in my opinion, probably is in the Bible too. Like that's a woman thing.
Yeah, I think so too. And I've been trying to like before I get on social media, like today, I haven't been on social media yet.
Mm, I have, but it was like after I did everything.
That's good.
Yeah.
But like before I get on social media, I try to listen to anything Bible related. Could be the Bible in an audiobook.
Hmm.
Usually I go towards Bible podcasts. Just any topic that gravitates towards God. And I've actually clocked it. Like I've seen the difference when I don't do it and when I do it.
Hmm.
And I just said doo doo. Anyway, I seen the difference between those two things. I'm I'm a child at heart. I don't know what to tell you, man. I don't know what to tell you.
I can't be talking. Continue.
All I'm saying is like I've clocked it and I've seen like yo, it is so wild that we think that we can even attempt to begin the day without God. It's wild that we think that we have this enormous self confidence to
Yeah.
just go ahead and you know what,
Go throughout the day.
I got it.
I don't need you.
Anything can happen to me during the day. We know it, but don't really think about it.
Yeah. I think that is in itself is important. Just starting out the day with God and just reading, especially specifically like reading the Bible, because it's like it's the bread, It's
Yeah,
literally the daily bread. Like if you're not gonna go a day without eating, like it's almost the same thing. It's life and death. Like man does not eat off bread alone, but by every word.
yeah. My thing is like if you don't start the day with God, it becomes increasingly harder throughout the day to find God in the day.
Yeah,
Because
that's facts.
you have already like fed yourself all of these things that are meant to desensitize you to God.
Hmm.
It's not meant to bring you closer to God. Its main purpose is to get you away from anything spiritual.
Yep.
We're on Instagram. We already know about Instagram. We're on TikTok. Lots of good things on TikTok. Lots of BS on TikTok. We're on all these things that really are just designed to get you away from God.
Yeah, and we were talking earlier while we were in Walmart doing something. We were talking about like the whole night shift and day shift thing, and how like man was intended to go to
To be,
sleep
yeah,
like before the what was it?
Uh, so our biological makeup is designed for us to be going to bed like when the sun is going
Hmm.
down and to wake up right at dawn.
Like that's so confusing for somebody who has, let's say, like a set routine like me. Like even though night shift people will be like, "Oh, everything you do in the morning, you could just do in the afternoon," but
It's not the
it's
same.
so different,
It's not
bro.
the same.
I can't imagine waking up at 5 6 in the middle of the day and just acting like it's like sunrise. Like it's just not even the same ambiance.
Here's the thing.
Like
I
everybody,
think this is just me. I don't know if this is confirmed, but I really do believe that there's a difference between going to sleep when it's dark outside.
hmm,
Like your body knows, yo,
it's
it's
time.
time to sleep.
Yeah, it's that time.
Versus you fighting that for the entirety of the time that you're supposed to be sleeping. And then during the day, the time that you're supposed to be awake, you're fighting going to sleep because it's
Yeah,
just
that's insane. I mean, shout out to everybody who's making it happen because sometimes we got to do what we got to do.
listen, man, in my entire life I've worked one night shift
Same.
from 7 to 7.
And I never lasted a shift, to be honest. I don't think only a few people know this, but I've never like my time working Amazon night shift. I did not make it from like what was it 7 to 5.
Yeah.
I did not make it. I was home by like 2 in the morning because like that clock would just when I saw that 2 a.m. I was like,
Like, nah, 3 more of these to go.
yeah,
Nah, let me tell you what happened to me. So I worked in this little packaging company that makes the plastic straps to put around boxes, whatever. Point is that the shift that I signed up for was from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. The reason I was working this was because I needed time in the day to go to CDL school to get my commercial driver's license,
mm,
whatever. Uh, I get there at 7, and it's a 12-hour shift. I'm getting there at 7. Where the guy he's teaching me what I got to do, and then I see that the clock hits 10 p.m. I'm like, okay, been here for 3 hours. 11 p.m., 12 p.m., well, 12 a.m. at that point. And I go, Ulysses. His name was Ulysses. That was
how do you
training me.
even say that in English?
Ulysses.
Okay,
I'm like, yo, bro, when's break time? What time is it? 12. In an hour.
so I won.
At 1. Okay. Is once a second break? Second break? That's the only break you get.
Ahí pasó el pale.
I'm like, 20, 12 hours, and you give me one break? How long is it? An hour? 25 minutes. And I told him, that's illegal, right?
Yeah,
That's illegal. Like in a 10-hour shift, you're supposed to get, I think it's like an hour worth of breaks.
I get 3 and the lunch.
Yeah. So in a 12-hour shift, I had to work. Like I was like, I'm not coming back. I didn't go back because I'm not gonna be putting my body. We have to learn to do this. We have to stop putting ourselves through illegal situations that go against our bodies, that go against us. Is your boss calling you on your day off when you're hang up?
Or just let it be another
Or or
missed call.
or no, pick up the phone and let your boss know, just so you know I am putting this down on my timesheet as work. Oh, well, this isn't. Oh, you're not going to compensate me for doing work right now? Am I working for free? Click. We got to get out of that mentality, bro.
Yeah, that's another thing too. Before, like prior to that, you mentioned the whole when is my break. That whole again the whole night shift thing. Like even that in itself, like your diet, like what you eat and the time when you're supposed to consume certain things,
Yeah.
bruh.
Isn't it? Aren't our bodies supposed to be burning those things while we sleep in the nighttime?
Yeah,
Like, isn't like I don't know. Again, I don't. God is perfect in His creation, bro.
he is.
Our bodies are supposed to be burning those calories while we sleep. And I feel like the nighttime is optimized so that we can do that the best.
Hmm.
Because if we don't rest, guess what? Did you know that if you don't sleep properly, you will gain weight?
I can see that. Yeah,
If you don't sleep properly, you can't lose weight properly, and you will in fact gain weight.
science.
Science, y'all. If you're working night shift and you absolutely don't have to, because I know that we're talking here out of our butts sometimes, and we don't know everyone's situation. Sometimes that's maybe they're only paying $1 extra an hour, but you need that extra dollar to make ends meet. If not, you're not gonna make it. Don't listen to us. Work your night shift. Try to get out of there though,
Yeah,
because you're going against your genetic makeup. It's not working for you.
yeah.
So
So we just want to dedicate this episode to acknowledging the men who, who go through it in private, that nobody,
Which statistically is most of us.
yeah.
So sad.
So this is for the men. Stay tuned. Hopefully you guys can relate to us, and for the women, stay tuned as well, because maybe you might learn so few things that,
And you can learn how to be a little bit empathetic,
yeah.
which I feel like is one of the biggest issues.
Hmm.
One of the biggest issues that men face. But go ahead and ask the question.
So the question of the day is, what does happiness mean to you? There's a follow up question, but I'll let you answer that one before.
What does happiness mean to me?
Yeah. Or what does it look like?
Uh, it really depends on what my bank account is looking like. To be honest, now I'm playing. I'm playing.
That helps.
Yeah, money makes me happy. I'll say that with my whole chest. It doesn't make me sad. So,
True.
uh, happiness. All right. Are we talking about like happiness in the sense of fulfillment, of joy, or just like emotional happiness?
Fulfillment and joy.
Okay. Happiness
Because
for
emotional happiness is just like a moment. So.
yeah, yeah. So joy and happiness for me, it means that I am where I want to be. And it also means that those who are close to me are also where they want to be.
Okay.
So you might think to yourself that for me achieving happiness is going to be kind of difficult
Yeah.
because it's not just dependent on me. It all that means is that I have to do my part to take care of those that I can and take care of myself.
So let's go into the short term. So what makes you emotionally happy then?
Emotionally happy,
Like in a brief moment.
feeling rested.
Rested, right?
Rested. Yeah.
I heard arrested.
No, no, that does not make me happy. Uh, feeling like I'm rested.
Okay.
That does bring happiness to me, just because I've come to understand the value of rest. I've thought about this quite a bit. God created the earth in how many days?
6,
7.
7.
Because on the seventh day he
He
rested,
rested.
but that was part of creation.
Mm.
And God put that there on purpose to let us know that even we have to include that in there. If God took time to rest, he didn't have to.
He did.
But if God took time to not do anything, just rest, why do we feel like we can get away with not resting? And I've noticed the quality of my tasks when I rest,
Yeah.
night and day.
Bro, is I think men oftentimes with the pressure that we're put on by society and our spouses and everything, just we try to justify rest day, not having rest day by saying I got things to do.
Yeah.
I got things to do in the house. I need to go do overtime because we need more money, etc. And it's just you don't people don't really see the sacrifices that men take or like have to do to make sure that all those around them are fine.
Yeah.
Because, like, for example, like, the kids enjoy the fruit of their father's labor by, let's say, a Disney trip,
Hmm.
but they don't never see all the overtime work to even pay for that Disney trip.
No. And that's actually a very good point that you make because I have also acknowledged that rest is not always going to be an option.
Mm, yeah.
Sometimes you gotta get it done. Sometimes you just gotta get it done. Like, I'm just gonna use this podcast as an example, right? If we really want to like progress in what we're doing, reach more people, do this with better quality, that might mean that we're going to sacrifice some rest. I love a quote that Steve Harvey says: "Rich people don't wake up at 7 o'clock in the morning." Because in California, if you wake up at 7, Wall Street has been open for 2 hours, 3 hours, and they've been making decisions about your money.
Damn.
Every person that talks about being like having money, they always say, "Oh, wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, five
Mm-hmm.
o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning,"
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, I'm not saying that that's what's gonna make me rich, but
Yeah.
but the Bible does say it is in Proverbs, "He who sleeps too much dies poor." That's a proverb. That is our God talking to us.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yo, wake up.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be sleeping right now. What are you doing? You've had enough sleep, and you had the chance to go to sleep early so that you can get a full night's sleep and still wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning,
But you didn't because you rather just binge watch the show that you like so
or
much,
just
or just scroll.
doom scroll.
Yeah. doom scroll.
Telling you, man, the phone is one of the worst things that could have happened to us.
Yeah.
But yeah, happiness for me. Now I'm gonna resume it there. Rest. If I'm rested, if I'm acknowledging. Oh, one more thing before you go on to say yours.
Go on.
Um, Yesterday I had a very sobering moment in a good way. I
Mm,
was doing my yard, and it's a lot. Okay,
it is a lot.
it's a lot to do, and I'm over here thinking like, dang, this is a lot. But then I'm like, I at my young age own more than probably most of my ancestors ever did in their entire life. I should be grateful for what I have right now. I excluded my parents because they had like or had I don't know like 200 acres of land in DR, so it's ridiculous. Either way, I'm like I have something that I can call mine. I have a lot of it, and I am taking care of what I prayed for.
Yeah.
So there's no reason why I have the mere thought of complaining should not be anywhere near my mind.
Hmm.
So I took a moment just to look around and be happy of what I had. And I also acknowledge that this is also temporary. Like maybe God is going to move me on to better things, and maybe He's going to be taken away from me for whatever reason.
But you like land though. You want land.
I want land.
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
So
I'm happy was what
yeah.
I'm trying. I can say that I'm well.
I think I want to just add to your thing. I think it's important for us to have moments like that where we shut the voices down and
Yeah,
just look at where we're at.
I agree.
Cause we spend too much time on go 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 that we don't have a moment to really just shut everything down. Go, put ourselves in like no disturb mode and just really be grateful for the things around us.
Yes, you have no idea what you're saying, bro. In a good way, because I've said those exact same words,
Yeah.
but during a meltdown. It's like I told Carmen, like all I feel like I'm just going, going,
Mhm.
going. I don't have a time to reset to stop, and
Mhm.
I feel like I have to keep going because if I stop at any given point,
Mhm.
everything is gonna fall apart. Because and then
Mhm.
she was like, "You're doing this to yourself. I don't require that from you, and
Yeah.
you shouldn't require that from yourself. If you had any type of sense of structure
Yeah.
and organization, maybe you wouldn't have to do that. So
Yeah.
half of the time it's our own fault. But keep go ahead.
Yeah. And even in that, I think God wants us to also. It was also a summary moment, but I think it's also God's way of reminding you, like, I put you here.
Yeah,
Enjoy what I've given you. Because we don't always do. Sometimes God gives us things, and we 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 try so hard to take care of the things that God has given us that we completely forget to even be grateful for that
for the
fact that
things
He's
that God has given us.
yeah. Like God, God said I'm gonna give you this phone, and it's like okay, now we're on this phone 24/7.
I have a not even a theory. I know why we do it. Why we have that like issue, that conundrum.
Go ahead, man.
Is because we put our faith in the things that God has given us. And then, for example, it's our salary, right? I'm grateful for my salary. But instead of being thankful to God and faithful to God because of that salary, now all of my faith is in the
It's in
salary.
the salary.
So if God ever asks me to let that go, I'm going to be like, no, I need this to survive. But the person who's asking us to let it go is the same person who gave it to us in the first place.
Yeah.
So there's no reason why we should put our faith in money, in material things, rather than in the person who can, even if we don't agree to it, can take it away from us at any point.
Literally.
So why do we go against the current? Going against the current is what causes all of our mental health issues.
Hmm.
And the current, I mean God. When we go against God and His will, that is like the epicenter for mental disorders because we're fighting against our nature.
And going against the current, like in an actual like situation where you're going against water, you tire yourself out way more.
Bro, have you ever tried to swim upstream in DR in the Dominican Republic in the river? It's like it's a good workout. Hey, it's a great workout, but
I don't want that workout with God.
nah, nah,
I don't want it.
it's too much.
But for me, what does happiness mean to you? Uh, and even in present time, like just in a moment, a little bit of what you said, rest and calmness.
Calm.
I like being in a calm environment where I could be in my room, hear nothing but the birds just chirping, and it might sound like I'm just maybe romanticizing something, but that brings me happiness, that brings me joy, that brings me a sense of peace, that reminds me of God very often.
Yeah.
It just reminds me of literally like his mercy and grace all the time, that I can wake up and I can see the sun out and I can see the green leaves and I can, and it's just that to me is happiness. And being able to serve,
Yeah.
like being able to help other people, being able to be there for people, that sort of stuff makes me happy.
I feel like we relate in that sense.
Yeah.
You know, I heard a pastor once say that we will never feel fulfilled until we serve.
Jay Shetty said that in his book.
Who?
Jay Shetty. The first book I ever read when I started getting to reading a Think Like a Monk.
Okay.
Yeah. Don't agree with all the theology, but or the
You know,
his ideals,
yeah.
but he did say that uh
Taking the good and the go the
yeah,
bad, bro.
fulfillment is in servitude.
He, we have to understand. Same thing as going against the current. We need to understand, number one, who designed us and what our design is composed of.
Hmm.
If we're designed to serve others, like out like outrageous servitude,
Hmm.
and we decide not to, we think that we're like, helping ourselves to all of this benefit. Oh, well, I get all of it and I don't have to serve anyone.
Hmm.
But it's incredible that the even the richest people will say, "Oh, this doesn't make me happy," because you're not doing what you were designed to do. You were designed to, yes, you have to work, provide, but serve others around you.
Yeah. Hey man, I agree. I
It
agree.
just feels different. It really does.
The follow up question to that might get a little deep. Is do you think you're genuinely happy now?
I'm not happy.
You're not happy.
I'm not happy.
Elaborate. I'm gonna need you to.
Yeah, I know. Um, if I had to take a look at my life of where I am right now, and doing a callback to an episode where we asked what's something about your current life that your younger self wouldn't believe.
Now you're married.
Yeah, not only that I'm married, that I'm alive and well. You know, I'm married to the best woman on this planet. I have understood many lessons in marriage that I've seen many before me fail at miserably. I grew up with two loving parents that did the best they could to raise me to be the man that I am today, and they're still alive. Um,
Amen to that.
I have a great job. I like my job.
Which few people can say.
Few people can say that. Very few people can
Even
say that.
professionals with degrees can't even say that.
Yeah. And the biggest thing for me, I have goals that I am currently working towards. Yeah, I'm happy.
So just scratch the I'm not happy.
Yeah, yeah. I was trying to be a little bit,
Yeah,
whatever.
but
But no, I am. I can say that I am genuinely happy.
bro, that honestly, when the Bible says like celebrate with those when weep with those who weep and rejoice with those who rejoice. Like I
Yes.
feel rejoice knowing that you're happy. That makes me happy, bro. Am I genuinely happy? I'm not gonna say no.
Okay.
I have my moments where I do have joy, and it's the moments when I have peace. But I'm not where I am, where I want to be in my life.
So if you had to put it on a scale, would you say that you are consistently discontent more than you are happy? Because I don't know why, but my brain doesn't like say happiness and unhappiness.
Hmm.
I see happiness and being discontent.
No, I think I am content where I
Okay.
want to be, but I also know that there's more to do.
Okay.
So I have a lot of goals also as well that I'm trying to reach, and I'm just trying to reach the point where I can, we always talk about it, where we just want to get to a point in our lives where we just sit on a rocking chair and then we're like,
That's what every man wants, bro. Just
literally,
a nice scenery.
and like right now, like we're young. I think I'm enjoying the process of aiming for that.
Yeah.
That's what it is. I'm enjoying the process of making things happen so that I can one day do that.
Yeah.
Literally, just on a rocking chair, breathe, drink my tea, sit next to my wife, see the kids, whatever. Like that's what I'm reaching for. So right now, I'm not gonna lie and be like I'm happy. I'm content with my life. I'm
Okay.
not sad. I'm not depressed. Sometimes things happen in life where it kind of gets you down. But I've learned something throughout my process of just spiritual growth, and is that sometimes like the gospel and being a Christian isn't always about what we feel. It's about like what our master says
Yeah.
that we should feel. You
You
know,
you know
go ahead.
you just said something that not many men nowadays say. Our age, let's say. I am very grateful that you and I both, you know, you and I both just let go of the whole phase. We never had that.
No.
We never went through that.
I had that because I'm not gonna sit here and lie.
When I say whole phase, I mean like we never really had that. We weren't out there being hoes. What
Mm,
I'm trying to say.
mm,
Did we have the temptation and the opportunity? Absolutely.
probably, or not because I wasn't that attractive back
Okay,
then.
bro.
Go on, go on.
Come on. What I'm saying is that you and me didn't have like a clubbing phase.
Yeah,
We didn't have that type of hoe phase, and at a very young age, our minds were set to where they are currently right now. We family, strive to serve,
hmm
strive to protect.
we knew we wanted that. We just didn't really know how to start it.
Exactly, but we're here now.
Yeah,
And what I'm saying is, I have family members that are in their 40s and even some of them in their 50s, and they're still in the phase of getting women,
they're still playing games.
flashing money that they don't have, but flashing money, buying $300 bottles in the club, which is ridiculous to me, asinine to me. That might just be my broke boy mentality,
No, no, it's.
but bro, buying a $300 bottle of
I'm gonna
King's
say
Label.
I'm gonna say something real quick, just because I've seen on Instagram those little videos, those little compilation videos there's going around when people go to clubs, and it's like I see the videos that they make and how they shoot at people's faces and the people are looking at the camera and it looks like a genuinely like a movie.
Yeah,
If you guys would see, and I don't want to make I don't want to make anybody feel bad, but every time I see those videos and I see people's faces, with the hookahs in their hand, with their phones, literally just recording themselves with the bottles. If you guys only knew how much you guys look like just empty shells.
yeah.
And I'm not here better than anybody. I have so many faults of myself, but man, I'm glad I'm on in the kingdom side.
I just have a question, and maybe with that we can move on to the next question.
Okay.
Do you think men and women are genuinely happy nowadays, or is it a facade? I have a question before we answer that. At what point does that become old?
It doesn't. It does become old, but people there's that's the only thing that people confuse with filling themselves with. So even though it might become old, that's why we still see 40 and 50-year-old people still doing the same things because it's like they have not found yet what fills them.
I mean, it's all they know, bro.
It's all they know.
If you think about it, this is why I cannot blame people who do those things. I really cannot come against them like, oh, bro, you're wasting your life on one bottle of tequila every weekend.
The Bible says, "Let the blind guide the blind."
No, no, no. But here's where I'm going with this. I cannot blame someone for participating in something that they have only seen their friends, their peers, their family members, the men in their life, the women in their life do all over and over and over again. I really can't blame you for that because that's all you've been taught. We are creatures of habit and we're creatures that learn by what we see.
Hmm
Like you can tell me every day to love your like if my dad every day tells me love your wife, love your wife, love your wife, and I do not see that man loving his wife, my mother, I am not going to love my wife.
hmm
I'm going to do what he did, not what he told me to,
Right.
for the most part.
Yeah.
Because we can either learn by imitation or by avoidance. So, in the same way, we see Dominican culture, Dominican culture, hookahs every day, even straight out of work before they eat hookah.
But I was going somewhere. When was it? I forgot where I was going. I think I was going to work the other day. I go to work like at 5 in the morning.
Yeah,
There was somebody with a vape in their hands walking at 5 in the morning. I just seen hella smoke. I'm like,
that man just got off the graveyard shift from Turkey Hill, man.
bro, it's 5 a.m.
That man got off the graveyard shift from the gas station, probably.
It's 5 a.m. And I got a story to tell.
Please do.
It's a story that just happened recently. I just had a cousin that passed away.
Okay.
She lived in DR. She was 19 years old. They figured out, number one, they couldn't even get her information through her phone, like her medical history, because the phone had a password. But nobody knew what happened. Nobody knew what happened to her. And apparently, when they, I guess, the autopsy and everything, they figured out that one, her lungs had completely died out from hookah and vaping. Apart from the fact that her blood sugar, like, just all the way up, and her heart completely, like, like everything else in her body just went still, basically.
19?
Yeah, all the smoke from her from the hookah completely just killed her lungs, and she was living with an STD that nobody knew about.
Damn. I'm sorry, bro.
Yeah, and I say the story because, bro, we're wasting our time in our life doing things that half the time we're too scared to admit that is not even for
That
us,
we don't even like, bro.
bro. That we don't even like to do.
You know, I've been to a club here and there,
Right.
and as I'm sitting there, it's usually just to be with a friend,
Yeah.
whatever. I
Yeah.
don't really have anything against that, to be very honest with you.
Yeah. I agree.
But I'm just sitting here, and I'm like, you see, this is not my vibe. This is not. The music is too loud. This is whatever. But then I'm thinking, how many other people sitting here with me that this is their daily like go to? This is what their weekend looks like for them. Like they get paid to do this. And when I say they get paid to do this, I'm not saying that they get paid to go to
Yeah.
the club. I'm saying they
They
get paid
work.
from their job and then they go waste their money over
Yeah.
there. I'm over here thinking, how many people here have already come to the realization that this is not for them and they don't know what else to do?
Hmm.
It's like you remember that one time years ago I asked you like, bro, I cannot stop being a Christian because there's just no way I can live without God at this point. What am I gonna do?
Yeah.
Where am I gonna go? I feel like many people feel the same way about the nightlife.
I think a lot of people are at that stage that they don't know what to do. They just need someone to point them to the direction
Yeah.
of where to go, which is our job.
Now let's get into this because we're talking about mental health here.
Yeah.
How do you think this reflects the current mental health epidemic or pandemic, I'd say, that exists in this world?
The clubbing scene, or
Not just the clubbing scene, because it can be anything. Let's say that you don't, really go clubbing, but you got hella bodies,
okay.
you know, or you think that if you lose your vape, you're gonna lose your life.
I think it's all, bro. It's all all just because of comparison, and people are just trying to be fulfilled with the wrong things at the end of the day.
Yeah.
People are just exploring, and unfortunately the thing with that is that I see things, not everything in life, for everything physical has a spiritual side.
Okay.
That's how I see it. Because even when, Peter was like, "Oh, Jesus, don't go and die," he was like, "Oh, get away from me, Satan."
Hmm.
Jesus was looking at him from a spiritual standpoint. I just think that when we're in the stage of exploring and let's find out what we likes, the enemy does a great job at making sure that we're hooked to the one thing we don't like.
Very true.
So I just think even if we're just exploring, oh, I'm not a fan of clubbing, but let me just try out the club because my friends go clubbing. You go once, there might be a girl that you like. You already know she's gonna be there multiple times. That's already
The hook.
the hook. Now you're going every weekend just in hopes of seeing this girl. Now the girl stops going, but you don't even care about the girl anymore.
Hmm.
Another girl pulls up. Another girl pulls up. Another girl goes up. And you're reeling these girls in, and it's like, okay, I don't even care about the nightlife, but every time I go, I catch a new body. So this right now, I think this is what fills me up, but this is just really the gateway to what I really want to get to,
Yeah.
which is fulfillment. That's how I see everything, everything. And unfortunately, it is a facade because we weren't made to be that way.
No.
We weren't made to follow, to go against the current. We weren't made to live our lives fake. We were not. To some people be like, "Oh, I'm not being fake."
Yeah.
You just gotta look deep enough to realize that this is not what you want to do for your 20s, 30s, and 40s and 50s, because that has no fruit to it.
A lot of our parents, they told us, don't waste your 20s doing something that you're going to spend the rest of your life cleaning up after. And that is so true. And now that you're talking about, because here's the thing, I know that we're coming off as these hyper religious guys who, oh, don't go clubbing, don't smoke, don't drink. None of that, okay? None of that. Do what you will. Do what you're gonna do. And I don't mean to quote, the satanic church when they say, do what thou wilt. That's not what I mean. What I mean is, you're gonna do what you're gonna do anyway.
Mm.
You know, me personally, I'm not against you having a drink. I drink alcohol. I'm not against that. However, there's there and if you care about your brain, try not to fill yourself with alcohol every single day
Every single day.
or every week for that matter. You're going to smoke? Okay. Just know that that's going to have repercussions for you in the future.
Yeah.
And here's where I'm going with this. I've noticed that the things that we do that are completely like God is nowhere there. For example, let's say the clubbing scene. I feel like people in there are just looking for a good thing, which is a sense of community. Like you're in the club, you're surrounded by all these people. You're having a good time.
Friends, peers.
Yeah, and I'm not even gonna say you're having a fake good time. You might actually be having a good time.
Mm-hmm.
You might be enjoying yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You're looking for a sense of community. That's where your people are, and that's where you feel like you have to be. You have the choice of looking for a different community or taking your people out of there and going and doing something else.
Because you might just be the one.
Yeah, you might be the gateway to for them to also understand that this is not it. This isn't everything. There's more to life than spending my paycheck
Mm-hmm.
in the nightlife. And I feel like we've gone a little bit too deep into the clubbing scene scenario here. The main question is, do you feel like people are genuinely happy nowadays?
Yeah.
I would have to say I don't think so.
No, I agree.
If it's a yes or no question without any nuance or in betweens, I would say I genuinely do not think that they are happy. Because number one, mental health crises are at an all-time high.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, people are always constantly seeking for the next best thing. The drugs are getting harder. The alcohol is getting harder. Everything is becoming
And
more and more extreme.
and because we always mention drugs and alcohol and things like that. The statistics for cosmetic surgery is getting higher, which again, I'm not a fan of like surgery or women getting BBLs or getting their bodies done, not because of the BBL, but I just prefer natural always.
Mm-hmm.
I just see that as like, as much as I hear this is for me,
Mm-hmm.
I want to do this, I want to do that. I don't see that. I see somebody
I
who
can. I can.
I see so I see somebody who at one point just was not happy with how they looked and maybe felt themselves being compared to somebody else that might have looked a different way.
Yeah.
Because if you're like 300, 400 pounds and you feel like, you just don't have the self discipline to diet or do anything like that,
That's a health decision at that point.
go ahead. But if you're somebody, there's no need, because I've seen this, there's no need for you to be 21 years old and for your 21st birthday, what you ask for is a BBL.
That is wild. I'm not going to hold you. But even there, I can also see how there can be a moment. Let's say that you're a 20, 23, 25-year-old woman, right?
Hmm.
And your chest didn't develop.
Okay.
Like and
Yeah.
you feel very self-conscious because you're a flat-chested woman.
Hmm.
Many men would prefer that. Many men would. I'm not one of those guys, but I'm, whatever. They would prefer that, but at the same time, all you're thinking is, I don't feel comfortable in my body, and I would rather get this enhanced or get this taken care of. Am I against it? No.
But my thing is, you always got to go to the root of things.
You do.
Why don't you feel comfortable
You do.
with how you look?
Okay. Why did you get tattoos?
Why did I get tattoos?
Yes.
I've always liked tattoos.
Okay. So it wasn't that you felt self-conscious about your body.
No.
You just liked them.
Yeah.
Can't that same mentality be applied to body modifications? And I'm not talking like extreme body modifications. Like, we know what we're talking about here.
Mm.
We're talking about something that it could be purely cosmetic, but it can aid you in your mental health, how you feel about yourself. I would feel like the most healthy thing is for you to accept the way that you are.
Right.
Like, just enjoy. For example, I'm not a tall guy.
Hmm.
I The last time I felt self-conscious about my height was when I was like 15 years old.
You're 28.
I'm 28 years old. When I was 15 years old, uh, there was a couple guys that were like, making fun of me, whatever. It was in high school and back in DR. And then comes another dude he's pretty tall. He's like, Manin, I'm gonna translate it. Manin, todos somos del mismo tamaño cuando estamos enterrados.
We're all the same height when we're in the 6 feet under.
Yeah. And I'm like, that is such a morbid thought, but at the same time, he just explained to me in a very short sentence how none of this matters. It's all superficial and we all have the same destiny.
And that's where I'm saying, like, back to, because we're talking about just an example, the girl who wants to get the BBL, who wants to
Yeah.
get the body done.
Which, by the way, just before you say that, I hope it didn't come off like I'm condoning this type of surgery.
Yeah.
I just want to know, acknowledge that there are certain cases where it's not like the worst thing in the world. I agree with you. Like for your 21st birthday, that's all you're thinking about. You
Yeah.
have been severely misled.
You stopped thinking, or you stopped worrying about your height because you found somebody around you that didn't make you feel less than because you were shorter.
Right.
So again, the example of the flat chested girl.
Mm-hmm.
Who are you hanging around and that's either making you feel like you're not enough because you're flat chested, or who you hanging around with, or who do you need to be hanging around with that makes you feel like it doesn't matter?
I think you're right about that.
Because you know what? You know what ends up happening in this same scenario? The flat chested girl can go and get her surgery and she can get breast implants. And then what's going to happen? She's going to attract the wrong kind of man that she's never even wanted in the first place.
That could be true.
Could be.
And
Yeah.
also, if society was mostly flat-chested women, and culturally that's what men liked, and that's what the normal
Which is
typical
true
woman,
because you can go to Asia where most women are flat chested.
you
And it's
know
like,
exactly, like if you grew up in a society where that was the norm, then there's a strong chance that you would not gravitate towards wanting to enhance your body.
mm-hmm.
So I understand the point where it's mostly a societal thing.
Yeah,
I do understand that. However, we also have to acknowledge that sometimes you're not going to know until you do it, and that's an unfortunate reality.
that's very true. And that's a reality that's hard to come back from.
It is.
Imagine you get something done. Imagine you go ahead and get like the knee implants to grow like, I don't know, a foot taller, and it's like,
Which, by the way, if there's anyone from Turkey listening to this, call me. I want to talk to you.
he said, I got like 10 bands with your name on it.
Knee implants, breaking your legs to grow 3 inches at its.
Bro, but just imagine yeah, now you're a foot taller, but now just think about the things you probably can't do anymore as well.
You can learn how to run within 2 years. I've seen it happen.
Maybe it might not be the same.
Listen. We're playing around. Well, I'm joking around here, but
No.
I would wish that society would come to the point where we start looking inward instead of outward.
Yeah.
We want to fix everything externally, and the internal we leave it intact.
Mm-hmm.
Let that rot.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, bro, I'm gonna get my beard implant because my beard isn't connecting. It's a real thing.
Everything's a real thing
My
nowadays.
my beard isn't connecting. Okay, bro. When was the last time you sat down with your thoughts by yourself? When was the last time you took a day for yourself to just relax? When was the last time you talked about your problems to someone else? When was the last time that you and your wife had some alone time? It's not all the kids running back and forth. When's the last time you talked to your parents? They're alive and well, but you don't pick up the phone to call them.
Because you're too worried about your beard not being connected.
When's the last time you took a day off from work? Not to do anything, but just to be with yourself.
Yeah, maybe the reason your hairline is receding is because you work too much.
Because you're stressed. You don't have to work all the overtime they give you.
I want you guys to know, those who are not Christians, that I want you guys to know that the devil is very real, and his main thing to take away from us is our identity. Because he tried to do it with Jesus, and he tried to do it with Eve, and that's why his whole goal is to take away your identity in the image that God has placed in your life, which is why bringing it to this point, the whole nowadays we're happy. We just we use the word happiness so like loosely, like, oh yeah, this makes me happy, this makes me happy. But it's like, but does it really?
You know, I'm not a person that denies that mental health issues exist.
Right.
I believe that depression is a real thing.
Real as it gets.
I believe that it's not just a spiritual issue.
Mm-hmm.
It is a chemical imbalance in your brain.
I agree.
I heard a Christian say that didn't exist, and I cringed. because
Oh, that's a demon going after you.
it can and it cannot be at the
Right.
same time. There's a very good chance that you're just dealing with spiritual
I
oppression.
get so I get so mad when somebody in the faith as a Christian is like, "Oh, I feel sad. I've been feeling sad lately." You got to pray about that.
Brother, what do you think I've been doing this whole time?
That's a demon after you. You got to be more in your scriptures. That person might just need therapy.
Or it's
Like
someone to talk to.
or someone to therapy, someone to talk to, anybody.
Listen, I'm very I'm gonna choose my words lightly here. First and foremost, I love the church. I love my brothers and sisters in Christ. But the church has done such a terrible job when it comes to not treating mental health, addressing mental health. If all you hear from the pulpit is that mental health is a demon, that it's depression, that depression is not real, you need to probably relocate from that church.
Hmm.
If you're struggling with that, right? Because you're never going to find the help you need. And then when the real help comes your way, you're going to hesitate to accept the help because all you've been taught is that depression is a demon.
Hmm.
Bro, first and foremost, Christians cannot be possessed by demons. First thing you need to know. It is impossible for a Christian to be possessed by a demon. Satan does not have any authority over your mind at all. Is it possible that there's spiritual oppression going on around you?
Hmm.
Yes, it's possible. But we have to stop it with the it's all a demon, it's all from hell.
It's always an attack from Satan. So
No, no, brother. What happened was that this kid was forced to be the man of the house when he was 9 years old.
talk to him.
And he never got the chance to be a child.
Talk to him.
He never got the chance to experience childhood. All he did was take care of his little sister because the real man of the house walked out on him when he was 9.
Talk to him.
And now he has to figure out what life is at an age that people are supposed to be figuring out life for him.
Oh, this girl just came to church and she's a lesbian. That's a demon that attacks the gays. No, maybe she got abused at 4,
Their parents left them in the room with the wrong uncle.
and now she doesn't know what to do. Now she's
Now she
confused.
wants nothing to do with men.
Oh, she's just a woman. She's just a man hater. She's just into the I'm an independent woman trend, or she just got taken advantage of and she doesn't know what a real man looks like.
Or the only man in her life that was supposed to take care of her didn't do his job. And she said, I'll be damned if I let another man disappoint me in this life. You see, there are a lot of things that we forget to consider. And I feel like we don't even forget to consider, we just refuse to consider them.
Mhm.
Because it's a lot easier for us to say, pray it away,
Mhm.
instead of, nah, sit down. We need to have a conversation.
Take my phone number whenever you feel.
Which is what Christians are called to do, especially for your brothers and sisters in the faith. The serving other people, that does not just mean feeding them. It means giving them your time, being invested in their well-being.
Mhm.
And if you're invested in someone's well-being, you're going to listen to them.
Mhm.
You're going to sit down like, yo, hold on, come over here. I've noticed, I've gotten to know you. I've noticed that you have very negative connotations when it comes to men, when it comes to this, when it comes to getting married. Why don't you want to get married, bro? I don't want to talk about it. Okay,
That's cool.
that's cool. Couple months go by. Man, listen, I'm gonna tell you what's going on. My mom cheated on my dad when I was 17, and I was not about to let another woman do that to me and to my family.
Mhm.
Okay, sounds like you need to heal. I'm going to pray for you, but that's
Mhm.
not all we're going to do.
Mhm.
We're going to seek healing. It's right there, bro. It's not even that complicated.
It's really not. It's just that the church has focused so much because I want to go back to the mental health thing, but I just want to say the church has focused so much on the 4 walls, we gotta raise up, these type of people, preachers, evangelists, prophets, blah blah blah, and it's like we just forget to sit with people. We forget to sit with people. We forget that once we look at the Bible and we're like, oh, there's a whole bunch of things that the Bible says we can't do, but then we forget about the second commandment,
I'm gonna say Second
Second
Amendment.
Amendment. We forget about the second again. We forget about the second commandment, which is love your brother, love your neighbor as
Mm-hmm.
if yourself. And
Yeah.
we miss the part that in the Bible where it says love God with your heart, mind, and soul. It doesn't say just and love your neighbor. It says and equally
Mm-hmm.
love your neighbor as you love yourself, which means that to God, they're almost right there in importance. Equally, almost the same.
We. This is it's a cycle.
Yeah.
When we focus on seeking fulfillment everywhere else but in God, we're not gonna know what that means. We're not
Mm,
gonna know how to
nope.
do that. We're gonna do is focus on ourselves. But the point that I was gonna make earlier is I'm not gonna sit here and pretend that these things don't exist. They are literal disorders that exist amongst people. I do, however, believe that those things are made worse when there is spiritual disalignment.
Hmm.
If you do struggle with mental health, depression, let's say women postpartum depression, which is a very real thing,
Very real.
uh,
Crazy.
let's say men across the world who have been taught their entire lives to bottle up their feelings, and then when the time comes that they like these feelings are gonna get out one way or another,
Hmm.
they either end up verbally assaulting someone else or they end up hurting themselves
Hmm.
because talking about it was never an option. If you are somebody who has any of those things going on, and on top of that, your spirit is not aligned to God, there's a very strong chance that you're not going to come out of that.
Hmm.
Very strong chance. If you are aligning yourself to things that are disaligned with God, let's say that you're seeking help like astrology,
Hmm.
seeking help with people who will
Tarot readers and things
exact
like that.
all those things. Why is witchcraft your go to?
Sounds a little silly hearing it from this side.
It is ridiculous if you think about it, but we go to those things,
No, it's the good kind of witchcraft.
brother. Even some therapists participate in this tomfoolery,
Yeah.
and then I ask myself, like, I know good therapists,
Hmm.
I do, and you're gonna hear one thing from them: what have you done? What have you been proactive about? And then they will tell you if you don't know what to say, you're being proactive right now. You're coming to therapy,
Yeah.
which is good. We're Christians, by the way, who are not against therapy.
Nope.
I've had people tell me, what are you going to go to a therapist for if only God knows the soul? Two, thing,
And
two things can be true.
yeah.
They're not investigating my soul, they're trying to help me sort out my thoughts.
Hmm.
Because many times we have brain fog. We have no, you know, brain fog has been my mental health issue. Because many times I try to get a linear train of thought and I just can't find it.
Right.
You know what? Let me turn off my phone for a few hours. Let me not feed my brain fog because
Hmm.
I'm gonna tell you right now, this is where it all lies for me. If this is gone, I'm good. It's easy for me. It's not that easy for other people.
Yeah. I mean, everybody. Like I always say, everybody has the one thing that they're attached to.
Yeah,
Whether that be a phone, whether that be a video game console, whether that be a Netflix series,
it's a
whether
vice. A vice is a vice,
it's a vice.
and it does affect you.
Hmm.
Other people's outlook is porn,
Hmm.
which is the worst thing that you can do for your mental health. Absolute worst thing because it's easy to hide until you start to notice that you can't see in a straight line because all you want to do is get back in there.
That's crazy.
And the fact that it affects men mostly than anyone else.
Yeah.
Damn. Quite frankly, I am optimistic though because we're talking about it more than ever.
Hmm.
I feel like men are being, at least the millennials and Gen Z at least, we're being more open to the fact that talking about it is the only way.
Yeah.
I have the strict belief though that you need God on your side.
100%.
You need
100%.
I know that there's a lot of people who are listening to this that are not believers, probably don't even believe in God. You need God on your side. I'm sorry, I cannot talk to you from a place that I don't know.
Them rocks and those crystals ain't doing nothing for you. Trust me. Your
Listen,
problems will not go away.
keep burning that sage. I'll tell you a story.
That sage gonna burn you one day. And yes, take that in the way that I mean.
Yo, yo.
That sage gonna burn you one day.
I hope not, you know. But You know what? I'm just gonna move on to the next point that you have here because it's been catching my eye.
Go ahead.
Were you happier as a child, or are you? Did you like accept the fact like it's over, but you like being an adult, or are you drawn back by the nostalgia?
Yeah. Why did it catch your eye?
Because this is something I've been thinking
You're a
about.
nostalgic guy. You love like like
Yes,
yeah, like you love like just those things that bring you back.
I'm so nostalgic that I am even nostalgic about a time that I was not born for. When I
Mm.
hear like synthwave '80s music, I'm like,
Yeah.
that's where my soul belongs.
Mm.
Like there
Yeah.
in Miami in the '80s, not doing coke, but that's like that vibe, the palm trees, the
hmm
sunsets, the Testarossas, and the
See, I was more of like a mid 90s guy. That's where I'm at.
yeah,
Yeah. Like mid to early 90s where everything where the word groovy was being used and yeah. And
that's the '60s, bro.
well, like just the 90s, like everything was a little more like I don't know.
Anything before social media was good for me, if I'm honest with you.
Yeah.
But yeah, bro, I am a very nostalgic person, and uh, I can say since I had a pretty decent childhood, I didn't have a terrible childhood. I had a great childhood actually. Moving around and all, because a lot of kids think that moving around is the worst thing that can happen to them. I moved 4 times, so I moved more than many military people. But it's honestly not the. I miss my childhood,
Yeah.
and yes, I was happy, but I wouldn't go back to it. For a while, for a long time, I would have.
Mhm.
Yo, everything was easy back then. I didn't have to pay bills. I didn't have to work. My
Mhm.
biggest issue was doing homework, and once I was done, that was it. I didn't have any responsibilities. I don't know, man. Yes, it was a simpler time. Yes, my mind was free because I didn't have social media. In
Mhm.
fact, my parents didn't even allow me to play video games if it wasn't the weekend.
Yeah.
If it was Friday night and my homework was done,
Yeah.
go ahead. Sunday night off.
Mhm. Yeah. I think I like I don't know that I feel like the reason I wrote this down was or asked this question was because I do just see that a lot in men that they just they want to like kind of crawl back into being a child and kind of like and how we always say put away the childish things. Like I just feel like I see a lot of men who they want to go back, maybe not necessarily to be a child, but maybe go back to their their 16s or 17s, grown as men with families and kids already, and it's like don't you have a don't you have a
I just feel like those men lack ambition. If I'm honest with you,
yeah
they lack vision and ambition.
last year I remember last year I was making I used to pass by this parking lot like almost every day last year. It's a parking lot from a club here. And I know I'm not gonna say any names, but there's a lot of guys who go over there to play bitilla.
Hmm.
You know what bitilla is like?
Yeah,
For those who don't know, it's basically baseball but with a stick, with a broomstick and a cap.
that's why Dominicans are so elite in baseball, bro. Because
Yeah, and I remember I would pass by there. It'd be like let's say 2 p.m. I'd pass by there. Those guys would be there playing. Then I would come back and it'll be like 7 or 8, and they'll still be playing. And the first thing in my mind would be, "Don't y'all have families?"
maybe they don't.
I know a lot of them that they play there, and I'm like, "Yeah, some of you got kids. Not me or you."
It's not me.
Manny's so disrespectful.
Manny's calling us.
Manny is really calling us in the middle of a shoot. The dude who edits our videos,
He probably doesn't know that we're recording right now.
man, whatever. But like that's like maybe I'm maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong, but like I pass by and I'm like, I'm not up for 1 or 2 hours playing with the boys, but it's like at the same time it's like we do have as men we have responsibilities that we need to take care of, and just playing there with with your kid with your boys for 6 7 hours,
Yeah.
almost a whole shift. It's kind of like do you want to be a child that bad?
You know,
And
the,
maybe that came off wrong, but like
no, 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 no. So here's the thing. I'm not against men having fun.
right,
I know that you're not either.
no.
But the thing is that we forget what the word moderation means.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you don't have any kids, and even then I still might have my, reservations about that.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have a family, you are literally sacrificing your happiness in the home for happiness on the streets with these
Yeah.
guys because when you get home, you think it's gonna be, oh yeah, mi esposo lindo, my beautiful man was just out playing fake baseball for 7 hours.
Yeah.
It's all fine.
Yeah.
Nah, bro,
Today's my only day off, and you decided to spend it with your
with your homies.
yeah.
Tú ni te has bañado.
And the reason we bring this up, this scenario specifically, is because we go back to the whole mental health thing. Is like we ask so much as men. Oh, I want a girl who will be my peace.
Yeah,
I want a girl who will bring my peace. Do you think she'll exude peace when, for example, her only day off, she didn't even see you?
it's a simple question. You want her to be your peace, or you her peace? Does she find peace knowing that you're out there on the streets? No? Then why?
Yeah.
Because for all she knows, like you say that you're playing baseball or playing whatever with these guys for 7 hours. I know that's like an exaggerated time frame. Or is
It's
it
not though.
really?
I seen it.
Is it really? I saw a tweet. The girl was just like, my man just told me that he was hooping for 7 hours. And the connotation was, this man really thinks that I'm gonna believe that he was hooping for 7 hours. And he was basically out cheating
Yeah.
or whatever. And then I'm like, you know what? I believe that he could have been hooping for 7 hours, but you set yourself up for all types of accusations when you do that to yourself.
Yeah. And the thing is that
And it's not any better if you're in the home playing video games.
no.
It's not any better because you're still neglecting.
And the thing is that I hear you. Don't get me wrong, man. I hear you. I understand that sometimes you be out playing ball for 6, 7 hours because you don't want to be in the home.
Yeah. Why don't you want to be in the home? See, you let that go unaddressed and you're never going to want to come home.
Hmm.
And it's ridiculous to me because you work, you pay these bills for your home, and you cannot even enjoy the house that you're paying for.
No, because my girl nags so much. My girl, bro, like I don't understand why people like people are so oh people that aren't Christian that don't their lives are not for God.
Yeah.
They believe so much in the self improvement. I live my life how I want to live, this and that. But why is it so hard to when you are in a situation you don't want to be in? And I'm not saying leave, but try to change that situation.
This is where I lose a lot of people. A lot of our mental health solutions are in our hands, and a lot of our mental health issues is our own fault.
I'm fat. I'm gonna go to the gym. I need money. I'm gonna do some overtime. Uh, uh, I'm horny. I'm gonna watch some porn and masturbate. Me and my girl are going through tough times.
Eh,
I'm just gonna ignore it.
make it make sense.
It doesn't.
Make it make sense. You know, the only thing I'm gonna say here is maybe those other things are easier because it only involves one person. All
That's
it,
a good point.
all it involves is your effort. But and to give the men sometimes the benefit of the doubt here, what if he has tried to talk to her and all she gets from him is you're being dramatic right now? Or wait, all he gets from her is you're being
Hmm.
dramatic right now. You're exaggerating. Suck it up. You're a man. It's not that big of a deal.
Still go back to the whole your situation is in your hands.
Yeah.
As much as you love your girl, wife, girlfriend, whatever, baby mama, it's still in your hands. I don't think that that's a certain lifestyle to live because I just always think that when certain things happen in the home, that's when everything outside of the home starts to crumble.
Yeah.
I see it like all the time. Those guys that we go back to the clubbing scene or just anything in itself that doesn't feel anybody. People just always gonna go. People are just always trying to run away from the things that they live with.
Yeah.
And you might take that as living with physically, or you might take that as things that you live with in your heart. Simple as that. The home is where the heart is at, and the heart is where the home is at.
I just feel like we need to be more empathetic towards each other
I agree.
because I'm just gonna like stick to that point of the response that sometimes men get
Hmm.
from their girls or wives, whatever. Women, believe it or not, a lot of them have been affected just as much as men by the men don't need to talk about their feelings mentality.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm grateful for a woman that wants to hear me, wants to make sure that I'm okay. Sometimes she has to take the words out of me with a spoon, but it works.
Hmm.
But there are other women who believe, just like other men believe, that's your problem. Don't come over here with all that. I got problems of my own. Be a man. Resolve it. Fix it yourself. I too would want to stay outside the home for 7 hours.
Hmm.
I too would want to spend my brain energy on a video game instead of having to deal with a woman who doesn't care about me. This is where we have to meet each other in the middle. And my thing is, they don't know how much better their own marriage would be if they would just listen to their husbands for 2 seconds.
Hmm.
Let that man vent. Let that man ramble. Does it have to make sense? Absolutely not. Let that man talk. He will find the words. He
Yeah.
will make it make sense eventually, or you're going to understand what he really means.
Well, the example you gave earlier, that why doesn't this guy talk? That we were talking about church. Oh, it's because he's seen his mom get cheated on at 17,
Yeah,
or he's seen he had to be the man of his house. You might not know that as a girl, as a girlfriend, as a wife. You might not know that, and you here wondering why your man acts how he is, how he acts, and you haven't given him the opportunity to even tell you that he went through this in his life.
yeah. Oh, it's not my responsibility to know.
I always say you might not have caused the drama, but
Yes, it is.
you're in it. I mean, not the drama. You might not have caused the trauma, but it's your responsibility now.
So I've seen a marriage. Obviously, I'm going to reserve the names. They lasted all but 3 years. Okay, they both had significant trauma.
Hmm.
Both of them, him and her. And at one point, they just call it quits because she didn't want to deal with his BS. He didn't want to deal with her BS.
Hmm.
And one day, I'm I'm talking to the guy. He was kind of venting to me about it, and he was gonna, I'm gonna reserve some details because I might dox him. And then I was like, "Yo, bro, you know that the issue that you had, if you ever, choose to get married again,
It's not gonna go away.
no." And I was very, very frank with him. When you get married, you sign up to deal with that person's baggage, and they sign up to deal with your baggage. That is part of the deal. Ideally, you would be responsible and let that baggage go before you get married, but we all know that that's mostly not going to happen. You're most likely going to get married with the issues. You have to understand that her problems weren't even her problems and you're dealing with them. They became your problems directly. Because if something is affecting her directly, it's affecting you directly.
Hmm.
And vice versa. Oh well, that's good to know. I'm like, yeah, it better be good to know because it's one of those things where we don't really think about that. Oh well, she has to figure it out, brother. You have
You
to
have to
figure
figure
it
it
out.
out. It's like I said, we got a solution to everything else besides the things within our own home.
But you know why though? Again, like
Yeah,
I'm going back to it. It's
it's easier.
it's easier to deal with my own things or to mask my own things.
Hmm.
I can't mask an issue with my marriage. She knows exactly what's going on.
And women, y'all not safe either. Like I know y'all go through I know you guys go through things that is like, oh, now I gotta go to the spa with my homegirl for 5 hours because I don't want to be at home with this abuser. It's not just the men that live in their childhoods.
No,
Women out here still playing doll and dress up with themselves and their friends.
but the beautiful thing about this whole thing is, bro, is that there's a solution. There's many solutions actually, but there's a clear solution. I'm not gonna contradict myself and say just pray it away because again, but prayer is not like a cop out. I don't want you to think that it's a cop out. It's the best thing that you can do because when you pray, God will give you direction. But you have to be responsible with yourself. And for the men out there listening, who who are listening to this and you're thinking that we're maybe bashing or whatever, no, no. We as men understand because we've gone through it ourselves. We have to take the initiative. We cannot wait for someone else to take the initiative for us. We have to be very intentional about this because believe it or not, if you're someone who's married, has kids, your lack of effort will affect them eventually.
Hmm.
Because you never know if your current mental health issues are the result of your father's lack of effort. It's a cycle that you have to break.
And don't wait for somebody or something to happen in your life for you to finally get your act together. Like I myself, like I always put like, well, I don't know. I know talk here. We talk here about people that club. We spoke about BBLs. We spoke about things. I ain't never got a BBL. I don't got a BBL, so I can't speak about it. It's just things that we see, but far be it from me to criticize somebody else for doing their ways of trying to fulfill them. When I also myself, like, I smoked. I told Yohan, I like 2 years ago or a year ago. Nobody knew that I smoke a whole bunch of black and miles
This man is crazy.
at least once a week.
For breakfast, this man was just
Yeah,
downing those black and
at my job, and it's like, oh, why would you do that? The real reason was, one, because I was trying to get filled with something else, and two, it was really a cry for help.
Yeah.
It was really just a cry for help because I needed somebody to be like, you don't normally do that. Why are you doing that?
Mm-hmm. It's acting outside of character, just so people can notice that you're outside of character. And the things that hurt the most is when nobody
When
notices.
nobody notices. Yep.
You don't need someone else to notice. You notices, and more importantly, God notices. So
And we see y'all.
with that being said, if you see this, feel free to reach out to us. We will talk with you. Shoot, we'll call you if you need us to call you.
Exactly.
Because we all know how difficult it is to want to talk to somebody and nobody's available. With that being said, I think that's a very sweet spot to leave it for today.
Mm-hmm.
Unless there's anything else you want to add.
No, I do want to just say that, like, again, like, we see you. We've gone through our own struggles. And honestly, God is really the solution. You might be like, oh, you
There
know,
they go, over spiritualizing
yeah,
everything.
you no, you might be like, oh, but I prayed to God about this all over again. I prayed to God. It's a multitude of things. It's, yes, praying to God, surrendering certain things to God, but it's also changing the people around you, changing the things that your eyes see, changing the things that you hear, that your ears hear.
Yeah.
It's just a multitude of things. If you really are serious about just getting out of where you are in your mental health stage, it's not just praying. Oh, I'm just gonna pray every day. No, you're gonna frustrate yourself and you're gonna get mad at God when things don't change.
Yeah.
And then God is there telling you, like, yeah, but I need you to, faith without works is also dead.
And just to add on to that, a very something simple that I've thought about for a while. The closer you are to God, the more your spirit looks like God intended it to look. If you're far from God, you're going to be in all kinds of disorder internally. The more you seek God, the more you talk to God, the more you trust God with your mental health issues, with your spiritual issues, the more you're going to be aligned to Him, and the more your spirit is going to look like God wants it to look. And if your soul and spirit look the way that God wants it to look, you and God, nothing to worry about.
And really look inward, like, really, for those people, for us that always, that have our vices, that have our things, that really ask yourself, like, why do I really do the things that I do?
Mm-hmm.
Why do I really do the things that I do? And then once you got that answered, like, you can pretty much go from there. You
Yeah.
know?
And also seek help.
Yeah.
Enough with the stigma. If you want to go to a therapist, go to a therapist. You don't even have to leave your house for therapies nowadays.
Yeah.
You can go online, find therapy. Many times your insurance covers it.
Yeah, I was doing Zoom calls to get money. Yeah, I can do Zoom calls for your better health.
I think that's all for today, man.
Yeah.
Y'all take it easy. Thank you so much for listening to two guys talk about things that they really have no idea half the time what they're saying. We just get through it. Just experiences, man. This will stay comfortable. Be blessed.
Peace.